Well, back at it again this evening with the Hummel Ultracruiser. I'm slowly figuring out how to lift 25-year-old paint, which, no matter what they say, extreme on paint stripper doesn't mean extreme. Um, I did successfully make it run a moment ago for only a few seconds, which I guess counts, but it doesn't fit my definition of running. It was quite scary, actually, in a very enclosed garage, but it did pump fuel, which is great. It did not hold fuel, so I've got something messed up on my carburetor. Um, this is a Tolleson HD80A, so a 42 millimeter carb. Um, Obviously, it doesn't have the flange on it anymore. I fixed that with my lathe. Big shout out to Dennis Brooks. I believe, just like him, that everyone should have a lathe for fixing said things. Yes, I'm missing a bolt. We'll get over that later. The neck is 5-layer silicon, so it's pretty rigid. It's got a little bit of flex. I'm going to build a bracket after I figure out which hole I'm going to be putting my carb heater into to support this to the block. And we're going to use these two M8s to support that bracket to triangulate this thing. It did start. I did hand prop this thing with the wrong prop and a scary prop nonetheless. I probably shouldn't be spinning it at all, but it still has all 3 tips on it. And this was just idle. This idled for 8 seconds, maybe 10, until the fuel started pouring out the bottom of it. So I'll be working on the fuel part, working on the paint part, working on the fuel tank, which this thing's going to drink about 3 gallons per hour, which sucks. It's not like the VW motors at 1.2 to 1.5. I'm curious about the other ultralight fellas. I understand the fine for being overweight is like $1,000 or something like that, which, I mean, that's money, but it's not like a lot of money. It's not like gonna break the world kind of money. So I'm not saying I'm going to be breaking that particular rule. I'm just saying if that is the extent of, the high side of the fines, that wouldn't be so bad. But I was contemplating, seeing as I've got foot room for days, I'm a small person, sneaking an extra gallon or 2 into a custom-made fuel tank, because obviously this is a titch on the light side, so having the metal weight would be nice for having a slightly larger tank. And this can still move this way, and my fat little butt can still move this way. So balance I'll work out as we go down the road here. But yeah, so I'm curious what the fine is for having just a titch too much fuel in it versus obviously the weight fine and other fines like that, to see if it's worth justifying having a extra safety margin. So you're allowed to have things for safety, right? Gray area, I know, but yeah, that'd be something I'm considering, is going slightly larger on the tank, have say 7 gallons, so I could effectively have 2 hours of flight time. Obviously, this is relative to how wide open that throttle is and how much throttle is required to cruise, but I'm expecting it to drink through about 3 gallons per hour. So anyways, still waiting on my elevator from Hummel. They contacted me and said that they're waiting on a part at the laser cutting place, which apparently isn't there. I kind of figured they would have all that equipment in house, but whatever. But yeah, the thing's coming together. I should be getting some tires for my big honking wheels here soon. I should be hopefully hearing back from Helix. Seems prop companies don't like this configuration at all. I don't understand it. There are plenty of tractor-driven rotax 447s out there. I don't understand how it's so hard to have a prop that's 54 inches or less that'll fit in a tractor configuration for a 447. Obviously, I must be asking the wrong questions, but or maybe the engine's that far extinct and nobody wants to make that prop anymore, which is totally possible. So, yeah, the paint is really thick and really hard to get lifted. I've tried a few different paint strippers and it's slowly coming up. It is beautiful underneath, which is nice. I was really hoping to not see a mountain of corrosion down in there, which I don't yet in this spot right here. Still potential other places. I did have a question for Dennis directly. This particular thingy right here, on all of the Ultracruiser designs, was this metal or was this made out of other things like hard moldable plastic kind of things? Because at this particular point, that is plastic. Should I be entertaining the idea of replacing that with metal down the road? I find it a little bit disheartening that it is plastic, but actually this side might be the metal one. Yeah, I think the other side's the plastic one. Let's take a look-see here. Oh yeah, never mind. This side's the plastic one. Why this is plastic, I don't know. I don't understand. But this is definitely not metal. So yeah, I did get some cleaning done. I cleaned up some of the insides. I got some other metal parts out, and I got to do a little bit more cleanup on the surfaces where a couple of things were poorly done. So yeah, got a bunch more stuff cleaned out of it. Got the firewall and the front end cleaned up quite a bit. A lot of this material looks to be in pretty good shape. There are a couple little spots in non-structural components that were directly in sunlight and moisture areas throughout the aircraft's life that have me minorly concerned. I'll be digging through a little bit of that and making hopefully more informed decisions as I learn about galvanic corrosion, as well as more informed decisions on how to prevent it. So this is all about learning. So hopefully I have that part right there, that elevator, hopefully in a crate, hopefully in the next week or two. That would be fantastic, so I can get a taste of brand new metal and brand new rivets and play with my fancy rivet gun thing that I picked up for this project. Another question, how tight should those motor mounts be? Because, man, these things wiggle. These things wiggle a lot. They wiggle too much. That's just by hand. Rocking back and forth. They are extraordinarily soft. I love the idea of a nice soft motor mount, except when I'm supposed to hang an airplane off the back of it and put my butt in that airplane. So I never really did get an answer on my last question whether solid mounting it is acceptable. I've seen an awful lot of ultralights where they're just bolting that engine block right to a stick that's hanging out the front of their airframe or out the back. Obviously, this is a stressed skin design. It isn't really designed to do harmonic vibration mitigation in certain situations. So I know that the half VW can get away with it pretty easily. It also doesn't turn very fast. This thing's going to turn probably 6,500 ripms, maybe 7,000, depending on how the prop situation turns out. That's real high. There's a lot of resonances that can occur between 1,000 RPM and 7,000 RPM. I'm not sure what the real answer is. I do need to continue the venture of flipping the engine upside down. I did not change any intentions on that, though I did just put it together to prove the point that it would run, and it will run, and I can hand prop it, and it's not that it's not nearly as intimidating to start this as it is, say, like a 50cc chainsaw motor with a carbon fiber prop. Hand propping that, you got to move your hands pretty quick. This is extraordinarily lazy in rotation, so I don't think it's going to whack in the back of my hand too hard. Obviously, I've been starting it with some liquid assistance just to make it work, because hand propping is a pain. I don't mind it, but it's a pain. So also pulling fuel through a dry fuel line for 4 feet, that was not something I wanted to do. Hand propping from one end to the other. So yeah, I think that's about all the rambling I got in me for this evening. I'm gonna pull that carburetor off, clean it up so I can take it inside without stinking out the kids or the wife, and see what I did wrong. Obviously, I did something wrong, so we'll be tearing into that, and hopefully I'll see some opinions. I love to see opinions and see what you guys think about this death trap. I don't know what to call this thing yet. We'll call it more life insurance needed or something like that. Anyways, y'all have a good evening. Thanks.